Nora had always been able to see the forgotten things. The lost, the discarded, the unremembered. They clung like burrs to the edges of the world, snagging on her sight and her soul. As a child, it was innocuous ephemera. A rain-warped picture book moldering beneath a park bench, a single mitten abandoned on a bus seat, a threadbare teddy bear tangled in the weeds of a vacant lot. Nora would gather them up, these little lost souls, and tuck them secretively away in boxes, in drawers, in the cobwebbed corners of her closet. Nora, honey, not another one. Her mother would sigh when she caught her with pocketfuls of grimy plastic dinosaurs or rain-faded friendship bracelets. You can't save everything, sweetheart. Some things are meant to be let go. Nora would nod contritely, but she never really agreed. To her, each forgotten thing was precious, imbued with memory and meaning. They were pieces of people, pieces of lives, and they deserved to be cherished, to be held close. As she grew older, the forgotten things grew stranger, sadder. Love letters never sent, curling in the shadows of attic eaves. Engagement rings buried at the back of sock drawers, still gleaming faintly with the ghosts of stillborn futures. Sonogram printouts crumpled behind dumpsters, smudged with tears and ketchup and the desperate fingerprints of dreams deferred. Nora gathered them all, her collection of lost chances and unspoken goodbyes. She kept them close, a secret weight over her heart, and tried not to wonder why she seemed to be the only one who could see the shape of their sorrow. It wasn't until she met Liam that she began to understand. Liam with his sea-glass eyes and his artist's hands. His crooked smile that hid a wealth of unspoken hurts. From the moment she first saw him, sketching in the corner of their college cafe, she knew he was different. There was a shimmer to him, an otherness, like he existed just half a step to the left of the world. It called to Nora, resonated with the strangeness in her own marrow. They fell into each other easily, inevitably, like two lost puzzle pieces clicking into place. Liam taught Nora to see beauty in the broken things, to spin art from entropy and decay. Together they wandered the city, gathering fragments of forgotten lives, torn concert tickets, abandoned baby shoes, love notes scrawled on the backs of takeout napkins. Liam would incorporate them into his art, collages and assemblages that spoke of love and loss and the terrible, tender fragility of being human. Nora would sit and watch him work, marveling at the way his clever hands could resurrect meaning from detritus, could conjure ghosts from crumpled paper and tarnished lockets. In the glow of Liam's love, Nora felt seen, understood. Here was a fellow traveler, a kindred spirit who knew what it was to be haunted by the things that others so easily discarded. With him, the weight of her secret hoard felt less like a burden and more like a shared language, a way of witnessing the aching beauty of the world. They talked sometimes, in lazy afternoon whispers, about the strangeness they carried. Liam saw forgotten moments, he said, snapshots of lives unlived, paths untaken. A first kiss that never quite connected. A mother singing a lullaby to an empty cradle. A letter left unsent, forever and ever. I paint them sometimes, he confessed, tracing idle patterns on Nora's bare shoulder. Or I try to. It never quite captures the poignancy of it. Like I'm always on the outside, looking through a smudged window pane. Nora nestled closer, slotting her chin into the hollow of his throat. I know what you mean. It's the same with the objects. They're more than just things, they're resonances, echoes of people. But I can never hold onto that essence. Not fully. Liam hummed thoughtfully, his chest vibrating beneath her cheek. Do you ever wonder why? Why us? Why this? It's like we're meant for something, but I can't quite grasp what. I think maybe we're just meant to remember, Nora whispered, to witness, to keep vigil, so that nothing is ever truly lost, so that every story matters, even the ones that never got to be told. Liam's arms tightened around her, fierce and tender. The collectors, he said softly, that's what we are, the keepers of forgotten things. The words settled into Nora's bones, warm and right and true. The collectors felt like an answer or the beginning of one, a purpose taking shape in the negative space between them. For a long time, it was enough. They built a life together in the interstices, in the quiet moments of gathering and witnessing and remembering. Liam's art gained renown, celebrated for its haunting, liminal beauty. Nora began to write, spinning gossamer stories from the fragments she'd hoarded, breathing life back into faded loves and lost chances. And everywhere, always, the forgotten things found them. Rusty lockets, tear-stained letters, baby shoes worn soft with longing. They curated them tenderly, reverently, an altar to all the aches and joys of loving. Until the summer Liam disappeared. One day he was there, laughing and alive, and so incandescently present it hurt to look at him. The next, gone, leaving only a space the shape of his absence, a Liam-sized hole in the world. Nora looked for him. Of course she looked for him, tearing through the city with increasing desperation, appending every stone and drainpipe and shadowed corner. She whispered his name like an incantation, a prayer, as if she could conjure him back through sheer force of longing. But he was gone, vanished like mist on glass, like a letter lost in the mail. Just one more forgotten thing, one more ghost to haunt the edges of her vision. The police were kind but helpless. Without a note, without any signs of foul play or struggle, there was little they could do. "Sometimes people just leave, Miss Shale," the detective said gently. "Even people we thought we knew down to the marrow. It's a hard truth, but a truth nonetheless." Nora wanted to scream, to shake him, to demand how he could be so blind. Didn't he see the shimmer in the air where Liam used to be, the afterimage of his crooked smile? Didn't he feel the wrongness of a world where Liam could be so easily misplaced, like a set of keys or a single mitten? But she said nothing, did nothing, just retreated into her apartment to keen her grief into his pillow. She cradled his paintings, his beat-up sketchbooks, breathing in the fading scent of turpentine and linseed oil and something uniquely, ineffably Liam. The forgotten things gathered around her, drawn to the raw edges of her sorrow. She let them come, let them crowd every surface and corner until she was cocooned in the detritus of other lives, other losses. There was a bitter comfort in it, in the way their collective mourning seemed to muffle the howling void in her chest. Seasons passed in a haze of gray, Nora drifting through the motions of living. She ate when she remembered, slept when her body demanded it. The words dried up, and the stories, until she was little more than a shell, a receptacle for all the grief and strangeness she could no longer voice. Until the day the postcard came. It was buried in a drift of bills and junk mail, so innocuous she almost missed it. But there was something about the thick ivory card stock, the faded blue airmail stripes along the edges, that snagged on her fingertips and her memory. On the front was a painting, achingly familiar in its style, all soulful shadows and liminal light. It showed an orchard at dusk, the gnarled trees heavy with fruit that glowed softly from within, like ghostly lanterns. Nora traced the lines with a shaking finger, her heart a wild bird behind her breastbone. With bated breath, she turned it over. There, in Liam's spidery scrawl, the orchard of forgotten things, where every lost love and unsung story ripens and glows. Follow the morning doves, collector mine. I'll be waiting, always. Elle. Nora stared at the words until they blurred before her salt-stung eyes. She pressed trembling lips to the faded postmark, tasting the dust and distance and impossible hope of it. Then, for the first time in a small eternity, Nora smiled. She looked around at the forgotten things, gathered like old friends in the slanting light. Gently, reverently, she began to pack them up. The road unfurled before her like a promise, like a lifeline. Nora followed it with her heart in her throat and a pocket full of breadcrumbs, the forgotten things whispering secrets in her ear. She drove until the city gave way to rolling hills, until the hills gentled into orchards dappled gold by the sinking sun. And everywhere, always, the flash of white wings against the blue morning doves, singing their soft and constant song of loss and remembrance, of comfort and return. They led her to a cottage nestled deep in a grove of plum trees, where the light turned thick and syrupy and the very air smelled of longing. Nora stood on the threshold, breath stoppered in her lungs, hands curled tight around the strap of her bag. The door swung open, and there he was. Liam, her Liam, paint-spattered and perfect, his sea-glass eyes glowing in the honeyed light. Wordlessly, he opened his arms, and Nora flew into them like a bird coming home to roost. "You found me," he whispered into her hair, voice scraped raw with wonder. "I knew you would, but I didn't dare to hope." "Always," Nora said fiercely. "In any world, in any lifetime, I'll always find you." She pulled back to cup his face in her hands, to map the new lines and shadows etched there by time and sorrow. "What is this place, Liam? How are you here?" "It's hard to explain," he said slowly. "I'm not sure I fully understand it myself, but after I lost you, I started to dream of this place. This orchard where forgotten things go to ripen and remember, to distill down to their truest essence." He shook his head wonderingly. "I thought it was just a fantasy, a way for my grieving mind to process. But then, one day, I woke up here, and I knew down to my bones that this was where I was meant to be. Where we were meant to be." Nora pressed her forehead to his, tears mingling on their cheeks. "Show me," she whispered. "Show me everything." Hand in hand, they wandered the orchard, marveling. The trees dripped with stories, charms on a rusted bracelet spelling out a secret love, a half-finished quilt whispering of generations of women's hopes and sorrows, a dog-eared book falling open to a favorite passage, an inside joke penciled in the margin. And oh, the fruit memories made tangible, hanging heavy and ripe for the picking. A first kiss, clumsy and sweet. A lullaby, aching with tenderness. An inside joke shared by decades-old friends. Laughter echoing across time. A moment of perfect, crystallized understanding between lovers. Nora and Liam gathered them carefully, reverently, cradling them close. With each one, they felt a piece of themselves slot back into place, a shard of their shared strangeness mending. "We're meant to be the caretakers," Liam said softly, "the guardians and chroniclers. This is why we could always see the forgotten things, so we could gather them here, tend them, bear witness to their beauty." "The collectors," Nora said, smiling through her tears. "I always knew it meant something. I always knew we had a purpose." Liam pulled her close, breathing her in like sanctuary, like home. "We dreamed each other into being, Nora, across worlds, across lifetimes. Two strange, lonely kids who could never quite let go of the lost things. And now we never have to," Nora whispered. "Now we can hold them close, forever and always. Every story remembered, every love witnessed." In the honeyed light of the eternal orchard, Nora and Liam twined together, the guardians of forgotten things, the weavers of unsung stories. And all around them, the trees glowed softly with 1,000 gentle hauntings, 1,000 chances to be cherished at last.